Once upon a time, there was an emperor Akbar in India around 1500 AD, and he had many brilliant people in his court. One of them was Birbal, and the story between Akbar and Birbal is very famous in India. Generally, Birbal is well known for his acumen, for his intelligence. So, time to time, Akbar used to come up with some crazy ideas, some crazy questions, and Birbal used to answer it deftly. Once upon a time, Akbar questioned. The question came in his mind: who is the father of passion? What creates a passion? And that was the food for thought for Birbal. Birbal was thinking day and night on this question, but unable to get into the some logical answer, some definite answer. He was not getting satisfied with the answer. He was just thinking. Meanwhile, he had a very brilliant daughter also, Birbal, and that daughter, she was almost as brilliant as Birbal himself. So after thinking about this question for about a month or so, Akbar was very Akbar was getting very what do you call? He was like asking for question every now and then, and Birbal was unable to find the answer. Finally, his daughter said that, "Father, don't worry, I'll try to find out the answer, but based on some real incidents, based on some experience, Akbar will understand who is the father of passion." So what she did, she created, she had a maid in the house who was, she was very close to, close in looks to her. Okay, so the maid and the daughter of Birbal, they were kind of, the makeup was done in such a way that they both almost looked alike. And the daughter said to Birbal, then let us ask for the Shahanshah Akbar to come to our house and have dinner. So likewise Birbal did. He asked the Akbar to come to the house for the dinner. And during the dinner, Birbal, the daughter of Birbal said that it was already pre-planned between Birbal and his daughter, that Akbar will be left alone with his daughter. Okay, and she offered the alcohol and the wine and other intoxicants to him. And after some time in that in that piece of solitude, Akbar was getting attracted towards his daughter. Then what happened that in a twist of moment, his daughter just replaced her maid, and in the state of passion, Akbar offered to make love with that maid, and he didn't know that he was actually going to have this act with the maid and not his daughter. Meanwhile, after whole thing happened, the next day Akbar went back to the palace, and he started thinking that it is such a shameful act for him to have this kind of act with the daughter of Birbal. She was almost like his own daughter, and he was feeling very guilty about the whole incidents. But the next day Birbal came, and he told the Shahanshah the whole story, that the person he had sex with was not his daughter. She was the maid. And after that, Akbar realized, okay, Akbar felt relieved. And in that moment, Birbal said, "So now you understood who is the father of passion. It is the solitude. The solitary moment of solitude becomes the creator of passion in the person. And this solitude could be, it could be something very dangerous, or it could be something very creative, depending on the person's subconscious mind. So in today's series, we are going to study the subconscious mind of yourself. The subconscious mind is actually, in Vedic astrology, you will see that it is not just a single chart. It is not just the Rashi chart, as in the Western astrology. In Vedic astrology, there are plenty of charts, and the most common of them are 16. It is called Shodas Varga, 16 Varga chakras. Okay, they are basically the harmonics of the Rashi chart. So basically, you will see that the Rashi chart is just the gross level of whole thing, and we can break down the Rashi chart into various aspects of person's life. For example, a person at the very gross level could be a very different person, but when it comes to his marriage life, he'll act differently. When it comes to his professional life, he'll act differently. Okay, there are several aspects to a person's life. The most common of them are like how he deals with the wealth. For that wealth, you have to look for the D2 chart, that is the Hora chart. Okay, the chart for wealth. It is the second harmonic of the Rashi chart, also called D2. With this terminology D2, DN. N means the nth harmonic of that. So that means if a Rashi is divided into two parts, and each part is assigned to one particular sign, then this way we generate the D2 chart. There are several ways to generate D2 chart. Okay, there are several other series that we have done for studying the Hora chart. Then there are D3 chart. D3 chart is basically the third harmonic, wherein the Rashi chart is divided into three parts. Okay, and various parts are assigned several positions, several signs, and there are several methods to create the D3 chart, and each has different purpose. That is the third harmonic. The main function of D3 chart is to understand the karma, is to understand the siblings. Okay, then comes the D4 chart. D4 chart is mainly for studying the property, the basically the immovable property of the person. Okay, like the house and the health and land and such kind of property that is basically immovable. Okay, then comes the D6 chart. D6 chart is the sixth harmonic of the Rashi chart. Okay, and sixth harmonic of Rashi chart, sixth house, as you all know, it is for the disease, it is for the debts. So the sixth harmonic of Rashi chart is used to study the kind of debts that one person is going to get into, the kind of diseases that one is likely to acquire, and these diseases that we study in D6 chart are mainly related to the body. Okay, as we go on studying, there will be charts from D1 to D12 like this, and they all are related to the they are related to the physical existence of the person, like your family and friends. Okay, your children, your brothers and sisters, your parents, they all are physical beings. Your parents you can study by the 12th harmonic, that is the D12 chart. Your professional life you can study by the 10th harmonic, that is the D10 chart. Your wife you can study based on the D9 chart. Your children you can study from the D7 chart, that is the Saptansha chart. Okay, so this is the physical level of existence from the D1 to D12. Then comes the conscious level, okay, which is one step below. So from the D12, from the D13 to D24 charts, this is the conscious level of the chart. Okay, in these charts, the major important ones are the studies that you are going to do. Okay, that is done by the Siddhant's chart called D24. Then the spiritual progress that you are going to make, that is the Vimshan's chart, which is for studying the spiritual life of the person. Then the Shodashan's chart, the happiness or the kind of contentment you are going to derive from the vehicle. And inner, your basically from your conscious mind, what is the meaning of happiness? From that can be studied using the Shodashan's chart, that is the D16 chart. Okay. There are other charts also from D13 to D24, but the major ones that are generally studied are these. Then after D24 to D32, these are the charts of subconscious mind. Below the conscious level, there is a level that even the mind sometimes tends to avoid. Mind knows, but it tends to avoid. Okay, and that level is the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, it may not be only the negative things. There could be certain positive forces that in general make your personality. It is not only the bad fruits, it is also the good attributes of yourself that are coming right from within. Okay. Now those fruits, those good qualities of yourself, you can study by the Nakshatransh called D27 chart. And the bad things you can study by studying the evil things, evil parts of your subconscious mind. It is called Trimshan's chart, that is D30. These two are the major charts that are studied at the subconscious level. Okay, so today's topic is about the Trimshan's chart. Okay. Now, in the study of psychology, Sigmund Freud has attained a name in the study of psychology. That you'll see that he describes that a person, every person tends to have a shadow personality. Now, what is a shadow personality? There is a sense of guilt, there is a sense of weakness in everyone's mind, and that weakness is at the subconscious level. Okay, that subconscious level, at the subconscious level, all these weaknesses are the things that you tend to discard from your personality. But it is generally impossible to discard these things from your personality. That set of attributes, those set of attributes, they generate a shadow personality of yourself that you are continuously trying to detach your identity from. Okay, and according to Freud, if whenever you encounter such attributes in other person, you tend to hate that kind of attribute a lot. Okay, now this is very psychological concept actually. For example, it is something like let's say you are trying to misidentify yourself with the greed. Okay, now you yourself are very greedy at the subconscious level, so you always try to dissociate yourself with that weakness. And when you find that weakness is visible in other person, then you tend to be very aggressive. Okay, so this is the process of psychology. Now, to study that shadow personality, what is the process in the Vedic astrology? In the Vedic astrology, you have to see the Trimshan's chart to study that shadow person of yourself, that shadow personality, that evil personality of yourself that you are continuously trying to detach, but you are not able to detach because this is something that is coming out of your past karmas. It is not something that you have created. Of course, there is one aspect of it that you are continuously creating in this life also, but majority of it is coming from the past life, and you just cannot dissociate yourself with that unless there is a spiritual process to do that. That shadow personality we can study using this Trimshan's chart. And in fact, there have been several psychological experiments happening in the West world Like one of this that happened in the University of Berkeley. There was a professor who was studying the how people react in the state of passion, how they react in the when they are filled with the idea of lust. At what time, what is the process of decision making, and in what way that decision making affects their mind. That study was done in the University of Berkeley. Like a set of questionnaire was prepared, and some sample of students from the University of Berkeley were given those questions in the state of perfect sanity, like normal state of mind. The questions like, will you be asking your girlfriend for repeatedly going for dinner just to have a better chance of having sex? Or do you find the shoes of a lady particularly attractive? Or would you ever thought of having sex with the animal? So these are some questions related to the weakness of the person called lust, and how people reacted to these questions. That was studied. Then the same sort of questions was asked to the person when they were in the state of sexual arousal. Now that they have achieved by, there are plenty of materials in the uh, in the internet, pornographic material. Using that, they have asked the set of volunteers to sexually arouse themselves, and when they are in the highest state of arousal, the question pops up in their screen, and they are answering they are answering these questions. And that study was horrifyingly, that was kind of a very horrifying results that the study has found, that the person, even very sane person, very cool person in the normal state of mind, what they would have answered is totally different from what they would have answered in the state of passion. Okay, something like, will they find their neighbors to be particularly attractive sexually? When they are in the state of sexual arousal, they find this kind of questions, like in the positive way, that a normal sane person will not find. Okay, or will they be considering to have sex with animals? So these are the things that come up from the subconscious level. Even that person may not be consciously desiring for this kind of thing, but at the subconscious level, all these things are buried in the mind. And that's what Sigmund Freud calls a shadow personality. Something that that person is always trying to suppress, always trying to detach his ego from, and it comes up when this kind of studies are made. Now imagine, this is only just one kind of weakness. There are 6 kind of weakness in a person. What are these weaknesses? That we'll study in the Trimshansh chart. Okay. Now let us begin with the weaknesses itself. Before weaknesses, let us understand the 3 kinds of gunas. What are 3 kinds of gunas that are prevalent? First of all, the whole universe is considered to be made from 3 kinds of gunas. Okay, 3 basic quality of elements. Okay, you can call it the quality of elements. The first is the sattva guna. Okay, it is very difficult to understand sattva guna, so let us understand the tamas and rajas first. Okay, tamas you can consider to be a state of inertia. Okay, the state of inertia that doesn't require one to move. Okay, it is like as if a drunken person is just sitting idle after having lot of intoxicants. That is the state of pure tamas. Okay, then there is a state of rajas called rajasic. Okay, rajasic guna. Rajasic guna is basically the state of movement. Anything that causes movement is termed as the rajasic guna. Then in between these two is the sattva guna. Now sattva guna is again a state of it's a fixed state wherein you do not move, or the element does not move, but there is an inherent light. There is an inherent light, inherent sense of consciousness emanating, oozing out from the Sattva Guna. For example, a saint is just sitting under a banyan tree and he is meditating. Okay, he is also not moving, and the drunkard is also not moving. But the saint is in the state of higher consciousness. He is in the state of perfect understanding of the whole universe. Okay, he has sensibility, he has sense of all the things around. But the person who is drunkard is in the utter state of tamasic nature. He doesn't have the sense of all the things around. Okay, he is just in the state of intoxication. Even he is not even aware of his own body. What all things are going on in his body, he is not aware. Just one more jolt of that intoxicant and he'll just vomit everything out. That is the state of the tamasic nature. Then in between comes the rajas. Rajas is the state of movement. Okay, it is the state that is actually creating the whole world. The state of creation itself is rajas. You sow the seed in the farm, and the tree comes out, and the plant comes out. This is the state of movement. Okay, to go and fight for your country, you have to go and fight for your rights. This is the state of rajas. Okay, you have to study, you have to make a movement mentally or physically to attain something. You have to be ambitious to attain some goals. All these things are the rajasic nature. Okay, now if you attribute all these points to the grahas, then you can say that Sun, Moon and Jupiter, these are sattvic planets. Okay, Mercury and Venus, they are rajasic planet. Then Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, they are the tamasic planet. So whenever you find effect of these planets over the lagna, then that particular nature gets very evident in the person. Because it is very likely that person who is having Saturn Rahu in the lagna, he will be very much addicted to the intoxicants. But if the person has Jupiter in the lagna, then he will not be addicted to the intoxicants. He will be rather doing pranayam, meditation and doing some kind of puja and all these things that will actually create a higher sense of perception. Okay, create the sattvic guna in the person. Whereas if the person has Mercury, Venus, then it creates a very rajasic kind of person. He will be continuously thinking about, he'll be very ambitious, okay, he'll be continuously thinking about acquiring the money, acquiring resources, and doing this and doing that, whether it's for the good purpose, bad purpose, but he'll be continuously in the state of rajasic tendencies. Okay. Now the weaknesses. Now there is a difference in the sattva of these planets because Sun, Moon, and Jupiter. Jupiter is the only planet that is sattvic throughout the year, every time, all time of the day. Okay, each and every moment is sattvic at all time. But Sun and Moon, their sattvic nature is fluctuating. Sun becomes more sattvic in the Uttarayan. In the Dakshinayan, it becomes less sattvic. Moon becomes more sattvic in the Shukla Paksha, in the bright half. In the dark half, in the Krishna Paksha, he becomes he doesn't become tamasic, but the sattva reduces in the dark half. Then in the rajasic planet, Mercury and Venus is there, and the tamasic are Saturn, Rahu, Ketu and Mars. Now we talk about the 6 weaknesses of the person. Okay, the 6 weaknesses of the person, they are the Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad and Matsarya. Okay. In English we translate it as Kam is the lust. Lust is created by Venus. Okay, and Venus is the rajasic planet. Okay. So out of all the 6 weaknesses, 2 weaknesses are rajasic in nature and other 4 are tamasic in nature. The general difference between Rajasic and Tamasic nature is that when the Rajasic weakness is unto you, you you are only harming yourself. You are not harming others. But when Tamasic weakness is there, you tend to harm others as well. Okay, nonetheless you harm yourself because it is the weakness of yourself. So you will harm yourself, but you will also harm the others. So the Rajasic weaknesses are the lust and the jealousy. Okay, so lust is like you feel attracted towards, say, let's say Angelina Jolie. What it is going to do with Angelina Jolie? You are lustful towards her. Go and destroy yourself in the lust, in that agni. But it is nothing to do with Angelina Jolie or any other person or any other fantasy that you have in mind. Okay, so that is one kind of weakness that is not going to affect any other person. Then jealousy. You can be jealous to other people. You can be jealous to your neighbor, your colleagues, and everyone who got more promotion, got better car, better house than yourself, or your friends. But is that going to affect him? No. You are only going to destroy your own self. Okay. So the Venus and Mercury, they are Rajasic planet. When they are afflicted, they can create the weakness in the mind. That weakness lies at the Trimshans level. Okay, we'll get into that. Before that, let's just understand the kind of weaknesses. Then comes the anger. Anger is a weakness caused by Mars, and Mars is a tamasic planet. Okay. Now that anger, in that state of anger, since anger is the Agni element, okay, and Mars is that Agni that is creating. See, there are several other kinds of Agni in the body, but anger is one such weakness. It tends to destroy yourself as well as you tend to harm others also. Because when you are angry, that anger will manifest in one or the other form. Okay, you may just, in the state of anger, there are several possibilities, and for obvious reasons, you can see it can harm others. Then Rahu is for greed. Okay. It is the state of lobh that creates. See, Rahu does not want to give moksha to you. What it wants, it will create a maya around you. He'll say that I am the moon. I'll create maya around you, and you'll be trapped in this life like this. So he'll try to fill yourself with all kinds of greed. Okay, if you work for X amount, you will desire the results of X plus 10. Okay, you will desire for something more than that you have worked on. That creates a greed. So it is a kind of vicious cycle that Rahu creates. So when Rahu is afflicting in your chart, it will create. Let's say it is afflicting your Lagna Lord, okay, or your Lagna. Then it will create the greed a lot in yourself. Okay. Then comes the illusion. Illusion is actually a very misleading term. In Sanskrit, it is moha. Okay. That moha is actually, you can say, moha is a weakness that exists, like it's a higher harmonic of the love. Okay. It is a kind of thing that, see, you can have a blind love for your son. So whatever son asks for, you simply give it to him. Okay, that creates a kind of weakness inside you because of moha. Okay, because of moha, you will not understand the right and wrong. You will be in the state of illusion. You will think that this is permanent, this is right, just because he is your son, or just because she is your wife, or just because he is your brother, sister. So you will be trapped in the state of illusion. This illusion is created by Ketu, because Ketu is the smoke. Okay, so that's how this weakness works. Then the intoxication. Intoxication is the mud. That mud is created by Saturn. Again, it's a tamasic weakness. So basically, the state of mud is not only related to taking in intoxicants like alcohol, cigarette, marijuana, but also it is the state of a person when he, you can say that uh, when a person has lot of money, then he thinks that everything is possible for him. He can just purchase anyone's rights, he can just do whatever he wants because of the mother of the wealth that he has. Okay, that is one kind of mother. Then one person may have lot of knowledge, and based on that knowledge, he may think that there is nobody in front of him. That is also state of mother. So don't get dragged by the concept of mother that it is just for the intoxication. It is the intoxication caused by the access of resources that you have. Any resource you can have in access, and you tend to attain the intoxication for that particular kind of thing. That resource could be in the form of money, or it could be in the form of knowledge, or it could be in the form of power, unlimited power. Okay, the like if somebody has unlimited power, like these tyrants of, let's say, North Korea, or the kingdoms in Africa, they tend to do anything. Okay, that is the state of mother. Now these are the 6 weaknesses that the Shastras talk about, and how we can elicit which of the weaknesses are actually playing role inside you. That we'll see next. Okay. Now let us understand the planets and their elements. Okay. See, all the 7 planets, they have associated with one or the other element. You all are aware of all the 5 elements that have created the whole universe. Main are, these 5 elements are the Agni, Jal, Prithvi, Akash and Vayu. Okay. And these elements are the basic constituents behind each and everything in the universe, whether they are in the planet or in the human body or in some other non-living thing. Okay. Now these elements, they have been attributed to various planets. Like Jupiter is associated with the space, okay, or the ether. Okay, so that emptiness. Okay, now even though it is the emptiness or the space, but what is the main purpose of ether? The main purpose of ether is to provide the space in which the whole play happens. Okay, so that is the whole space in which various things happen, various things manifest, and finally, at the time of pralaya, all the elements, they collide, and even the space also collide, and everything turns into the Brahma. That is the final pralaya. Okay, so that space is actually providing the kind of coordination kind of thing. Okay, so the person who has a strong Jupiter, he has a very good capability to coordinate among others. Okay, because he has very good sense of space. Then the next one is the Venus and Moon. So Venus and Moon, they are primarily the water element. They are the water element grahas. Okay, the water element inside your body is actually what you can say. Okay, so each planet have a element associated with themselves. Like Jupiter is the space tattva. Venus is the watery element. Mars is Agni tattva. Saturn is airy element, and Mercury is earth. Okay, so based on these tattvas, appropriate deities must be worshipped. This is the remedial part actually, because see, Jupiter is space tattva, so space is associated with Narayan, because Narayan is the one who binds all. Narayan himself is nirguna. He doesn't belong to sattva, rajas or tamas guna. He is nirguna. He doesn't belong to any of the gunas. But all the gunas play inside the space. Okay, that space is provided by Narayan, who himself is without any guna. That's why the space, in order to propitiate the space element, if there is any affliction to this element, then Narayan is the deity that has to be propitiated. Then the water element is provided by Venus, and as you see that Venus is the one that has the capacity to create life. Okay, see, Venus represents in English, in Sanskrit, the Rishi Shukracharya is associated with Venus. And Shukracharya is the one who had the knowledge of Sanjeevani, and using Sanjeevani, he was able to rejuvenate the demons and Rakshasas. So that power of creation and procreation lies in the Jal Tattva. Okay, and also that Jal Tattva is like a blood or lymph nodes inside your body that carry the nutrients. Okay, that feeding is done by Devi. So that's why the Jal Tattva is associated with Devi. So any affliction to the Jal Tattva will require propitiation of the Devi associated with it. Okay, the female deity associated with that. Then comes the Agni Tattva. See, all the Agnis, they are actually the manifestation of the Surya. Okay, because when sun rises, you feel hungry, so that creates the Jatharagni, the Agni inside your stomach that causes the digestion of food that you take. That is the Jatharagni. Then it creates the Bhutagni, the mental or the, you can say, the when all the elements are purified inside your body, then a kind of Agni that exists in your mind that relates to, see, just like you require the Jatharagni to digest the food, you require Bhutagni to digest all the things that you assimilate. Okay, the things that you see, that thing that you hear, all the information that comes to you, that gets digested by the Bhutagni. So that's why all the Agni is worshipped. Any affliction to the Agni is worshipped by worshipping Surya. Okay, and various forms of Adityas. Okay, Surya in each Rashi is a form of Aditya. Someday I'll cover that also. Then comes the Saturn. Saturn is the air element. Okay, and the air element can be propitiated by propitiating the Mahadev, the Shiva. Then the Mercury is the earth element. Earth element is propitiated by propitiating the Ganesha. Okay. Now the association of earth and Ganesha comes from the mainly the Kundalini part of Tantra, wherein the Kundalini is lying in the Mooladhara chakra. Okay, and that Mooladhara chakra is associated with the Ganesha. Okay, because that because it is the Mooladhara chakra that basically binds you to this earth, and as long as you are on this earth, no matter how spiritually advanced you are, no matter how much sense of detachment you have achieved, but still there will be a 0.0001% of ego that will basically attach your body to this earth, this soil. Okay, this body is actually the soil that has sprung from this earth. Okay, So as long as there is a sense of ego, there is a sense of ahankar associated with the body, you will remain on this earth. Okay, and as soon as you die, you will again get into the earth. So earth is basically that association of Muladhara Chakra with the ahankar. Okay, that's why Ganesh is associated with that. Okay, because the Shakti is lying. You must have heard the story of Parvati bathing and how Ganesh was created, how Ganesh was born is from the turmeric that Mata Parvati applies on the body. From that turmeric, she creates the Ganesha. Okay, just to protect him from outsiders. Okay, so Ganesha is like guardian outside that bathing room, and nobody was allowed to enter that room. And Shiva comes and he has fight with Ganesha. He cuts off the head of Ganesha. Then he applies the head of elephant on Ganesha. So that story is actually it's a esoteric meaning. It has a esoteric hidden meaning, and that meaning is actually the Kundalini that is lying at the Muladhara chakra at the end of the vertebral column. That Kundalini is Shakti, is a form of Parvati inside you, and Ganesha is the one that is protecting it from Shiva. Okay, and Shiva is there at the Agya chakra. Okay, so when Shiva and Parvati they unite, that is the rise of Kundalini, and Ganesha is the one who is protecting, who is basically shielding Shakti from Shiva, and that shield is created by the earth element. So as long as there is earth, as long as there is body, you will tend to be attached to this earth. You tend to be attached to the Muladhara chakra. Now in this whole all Panch Mahabhutas, you will see that any excess of any of these elements will create a kind of Mahapurush Yoga. So someday I will cover all the Mahapurush Yoga also. They are the Ruchak Mahapurush Yoga when Mars is in his own house, exaltation and all. Likewise, there is association of one Mahapurush Yoga with each of these elements. Okay, but not with Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu. Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, they have a different story altogether. Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, they basically make sure that the cycle of birth and rebirth, that it just keeps happening. And all these other elements, they actually form, they are actually they are the alchemy of your creation. Okay, different proportion of each element creates a different kind of personality. So, but Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu, they will make sure that okay, this is your causal body, this is your past karma, and based on this you will get this kind of birth in which you will be associated with this and this kind of person. Okay, likewise, if you want to see that who all are the person who was associated with you in your last birth, then you have to just see where is your Rahu Ketu and where is other person's Sun and Moon. If other person has Sun and Moon in the place where you have Rahu Ketu, then you are certainly having some kind of Rinanubandh with them. You are certainly having some kind of past life relationship with such people. Okay, just you have to see the placement of Rahu Ketu and their Sun and Moon. So that is all about it. That's how these elements they are just the cycle. They are just defining the cycle of birth and rebirth. So until you are not getting moksha, you are just trapped in this cycle of birth and rebirth caused by Sun, Moon, and Rahu Ketu. Okay, and all other elements, their excess or their dearth or their affliction is creating one or the other kind of personalities. Now in the house of Trimshansha, how you can determine what all weaknesses you have. What is the meaning of houses in this chart? See, first of all, D30. D30, you can say, see, this whole harmonic is repeating after 12 signs. Okay, so D1 to D12, then D12 to D24, then D24 to D32. So likewise, you can just you can say Just like D6 chart is for getting the physical afflictions for bodily diseases, D30 is for the mental diseases, the mental subconscious evil parts. Okay, because 30 is 6 plus 24. Okay, so just remove 24. It is the second harmonic of the diseases, second harmonic of the 6th house. So D30 becomes the evil of the subconscious level. Now, the 4th house in this chart is actually the house of cure. Whether subconscious mind that you have, see, the only cure for subconscious is to be aware of it. Once you are aware of it, it vanishes. Okay. It is like if there is a fire and you are putting ghee into it, you are putting some oil into it, it will burn with higher intensity. But if you are aware of the fire, then don't pour ghee into it. It will eventually calm down. Okay, so that is the meaning of being aware of these subconscious thoughts. Once you are, see, as long as you are, like Freud said, you have a shadow personality and you are always trying to detach from it. And in that process of detachment, you are continuously thinking about it. So that detachment will not happen like this. If there is an affliction, at a level of element, then we'll come to the remedy part. Once that remedy part is done, and you are aware of all the evils that are going to happen, all the evils that your subconscious mind carries, it will eventually subside. Okay, that 4th house will indicate the place of cure. Okay, it will indicate the direction that you will use for curing these subconscious diseases. Okay, 12th house is the mode of cure. In what way you are going to get that kind of cure. Now comes the main part, the 6th house and the 8th house. Now there will be some subconscious weaknesses that you will acquire in this life. It may not happen that everything you get from the past birth also. It may so happen that out of your own habits, you are achieving these weaknesses in this life. But so that is denoted by the 6th house. Then there are some weaknesses that you actually get from the birth. These are congenital weaknesses that you can see from the 8th house. Okay. Now see the process of disease. There are two kinds of disease in Ayurveda called the Nij dosh, not Nij, that is because of your own body, because of the constituents of your body. Then there are some diseases, they are called Agantuk disease. That these are the diseases that come from outside world, like bacteria, some virus that come from outside world. And the diseases that are because of your own weaknesses, these are called the Nij diseases. That is because of the different level of elements inside your body. Okay, like if you are taking lot of food that creates acidity, then you will have acidity. Okay, if you are eating a lot of sweet, then you will become fat. You will get diabetes. If you are not exercising properly, you will attain a state of tamas, even though you are not taking any alcohol. Okay, so based on your own weaknesses, you achieve some kind of mental or physical disease. Now, whether that disease is mental or whether it is physical, that you can see based on the affliction of a particular house. If the 6th lord is afflicting the 8th house, then it is a physical disease. If it is afflicting the Lagna lord, it is the physical disease. If 5th house is involved, then it is a mental disease. Okay. So if 5th and 6th and 8th and 5th they are involved, then it is a mental disease. If 6th house and 5th house are involved, then this is the disease that you have acquired in this life. If 8th house and 5th house is involved, then it is something that has come from the past birth, from the congenital problem. Now, these are some of the things that that you get from in this life, but there are some diseases that you get from outside world. They are called agantuk disease, that they are coming from the outside. Now those outside diseases, they can be of two types: drisht and adrisht. Drisht means something that you can see, something that you can logically conclude, but adrisht is something that you cannot conclude. Okay, there could be some ethereal element like spirits and pishach and bhut. All these things, they are the ethereal elements. Okay, they modify the space around you. That space, that ether, can create problem for you. It is an outsider. So whenever you see the 8th lord or 6th lord being associated with the Badhakesh, then it is the Adrisht kind of disease. And whenever the 8th and 6th lord, they are not with the Badhakesh, okay, they are with the Lagna lord or the 10th lord, then it will be a Drisht disease. Okay, it will be from outside, but it will be some kind of bacteria, or it could be some kind of some other kind of thing that is coming out of external influence, but certainly not something that you cannot see. Okay. Now the timing of these weaknesses. Okay, so basically in the Trimshans chart, one has to look for the Lagna. Okay, because Lagna is your identity. In the Rashi chart, it is your physical identity. In the D30 chart, it is the personality of that able person. Okay. Now, what is that able person carrying? That you have to study by the Lagna Lord in the Trimshans chart. Okay. So, if the Lagna or the Lagna Lord in the Trimshans chart is getting affliction from Rahu, then it is the greed that is afflicting that person. If it is with Mars or afflicted by Mars, then it is the anger that is afflicting that person. Likewise, just now we studied significations of all the other planets. So when they afflict the Lagna or the 8th house, then consider it to be a kind of see, these subconscious things, they eventually manifest at the physical level also. Because if you find somebody who is very angry, always getting very angry, then you can easily conclude that he has a disbalanced fire element inside the body. And that disbalanced fire element inside the body will create some physical ailments like ulcer or hyperacidity in the body. So eventually these subconscious things, they manifest at the physical level also. Okay, but not every physical manifestation has got the subconscious connotation. Okay, so whenever something appears physically, you can try to study each and every layer based on various divisional harmonics that we have. Just at the physical level, you can see in the Shashtans chart, in the D6 chart, and in the physical chart. You can see just the physical level, what kind of physical elements is going to have. Okay. Then see at the in the Navans chart. Okay, what is internally going on. Then in the D30 chart, you can see at the subconscious level that whether there is some conscious affliction of the fire element that is causing this kind of attitude. Okay, now this attitude may manifest at the physical level, at the level of body, or in the mental level also. Okay, now if you find the affliction of elements or the lord of 5th house and the 10th house, if they are afflicted by these elements, then it will be mainly of the mental nature. Okay, so like if the person is always getting angry, okay, then at the mental level itself, you'll see that this kind of affliction is happening, but not at the body level. Okay, so if the 5th and 10th lord, or the 5th and the 10th house, they are getting affliction, then it is only at the mental level. If the 1st and the 8th lord, they are getting affliction, then it will manifest at the body level also. Okay, then you can study the planets that are afflicting the lagna. Okay, the cure, whether these evil things will get cured or not, or what kind of direction that person will follow in order to subjugate these subconscious thoughts, these subconscious afflictions, that you can see from the 4th house. Now, the best method of timing the event in Trimshan's chart is the Naisargik Dasha. Naisargik Dasha is basically a very straightforward way of timing events based on the particular nature that becomes evident in the person based on his natural age. Okay. Now in the Naisargik Dasha, you will see that Mars Naisargik Dasha is happening from 2 to 5 years. Okay. The initial 2 years belongs to Moon. Then based on just these tattvas, you can just see that Mars is from 2 to 5 years. So you will see that the child who is between the age of 2 to 5 years, he'll be angry most of the time. He doesn't have any control over the anger. He wants something, that means he wants something, and he'll do anything to get that. Okay, he'll be always in that hyper state because that is the natural Naisargik Dasha of Mars. So he has to be like that. Then comes the Mercury Dasha from 5 to 13 years. You see, between this age group, you will see that the person will be most jealous. It is very kiddish, very childish thing actually, that a person, this is my pencil, that is your doll, this is my book, this is, all those things will develop in the age of 5 to 13 years because that is the time of Mercury. Then comes the age of Venus from 14 to 32 years. 14 years is the age of puberty. Before 14 years, all the genders are equal, but all the hormones, they start playing at the age of 14, and from 14 to 32 years, this is totally the play of Venus. Okay. After 32, it is the time of Jupiter. So the person is most sane in the time of 30 to 50 years, and after 50 years, Saturn takes over. Saturn is mainly the moha, the illusion. Okay, so you will find that after age of 50, a person is very attached to his family. Okay, he will just do anything for his family. That is the level of moha actually. That moha is not only for the other members of the family. It could be to his own house. He'll be very attached to his house after the age of 50. He'll be very attached to his own body because the body is deteriorating, but the mind is accelerating at very high level. Okay, because at that point of time, person thinks that he's going to die in 10, 20, 30 years and he has not done this or he has not achieved this. So his mind will become very accelerated. He will want something. Whatever he has, he will cling to it. That is the time of Saturn. Okay. So from the natural age 50 and beyond, that Saturn will take over. Now you see affliction of these planets in the Trimshan's chart. Okay, will create an aggravated result during that time. For example, see, Venus is afflicted in Trimshan's chart. Then in the age of 14 to 32, between this age, a person will have kind of hormonal imbalance. Okay, he will be, see, not every person in this age group will go and have all kind of, will be free to enjoy all kind of activities. Okay, you know what I mean. All the Venusian activities like various getting a girlfriend, boyfriend, trying out this and that. So all those things will not happen to everyone. It will depend on the affliction that Venus has in your chart. Also, Not everyone is going to have a very good sense or sanity in the age of 30 to 50 years. It will depend on who is afflicting Jupiter. If Jupiter is afflicted by Saturn, then even at the age of 32, he'll be caught in the illusion. If Rahu is afflicting Jupiter, then between the age of 32 and 50, he will be very greedy. He'll suddenly become very greedy. Okay. Also, after 50 and beyond, it will not happen that like he'll have lot of illusion, he'll have lot of moha in that age. It will depend on the state of Saturn. Saturn is exalted and not get and he's not getting any affliction from any other planet. Then this may not even come. Okay, but this is the best way of applying the Naisargik Dasha to the Trimshan chart, because as you just now see, just based on your experience, you will see that the child will be very angry. Okay, he'll be very jealous during this age, and as and when various planets take over, his mentality just keeps shifting. Okay, so you can correlate this with certain hormones that get activated at these ages, and suddenly the whole world changes. Okay, as soon as the hormones start playing the role, his entire mentality changes. Now the remedy part. So once you have identified the source of problem at the subconscious level, what you can do to remedy this? Okay. See, in Vedic pujas, okay, in Hindu pujas, you'll see that there is a concept of panchopchar. Okay, panch upchar, the five way of doing the five steps in the puja. One is lighting the lamp. Okay, so when fire element is afflicted, then it is advisable to light a lamp. That lighting a lamp will balance the fire element. Okay. Likewise, the affliction of earth element is treated by the sandalwood, by applying the sandalwood to the deity. Then the air element is treated by the incense that one applies. Okay, agarbatti. Then the ether or space element is treated by providing flower to the deity, and then the water element by the fruit or the prasad, the naivedyam that is provided to the deity. So all these elements they are actually covered in the Panchopchar puja normally. Now let me tell you one thing, that just by lighting a lamp, it may not just cure the subconscious part. Okay, you have to do the appropriate sadhana, the appropriate mantra, or propitiate a particular deity. Okay, for example, for Saturn, one has to propitiate the Shiva. Okay, because Shiva is the Devata of Saturn, and for Jupiter, one has to propitiate Narayan. For it depends on the kind of element that is getting afflicted. Okay, for Agni element, one has to propitiate Surya. For ether element, one has to. For space element, one has to propitiate Narayan. For earthy element, one has to propitiate Ganesha. For water element, one has to propitiate Devi. So likewise, for Vayu element, for air element, one has to propitiate Shiva. Okay, and if the person, there are other remedies also provided for these panch tattvas. Like if the person is having the Saturn afflicted, then one can do the pranayam. Okay, because pranayam is like purifying the air element. You are taking the air, you are purifying the nadis that is covered in the Saturn part. Okay, that's why pranayam is the remedy for Saturn. For Jupiter, it is meditation. You are just doing meditation. You are purifying your ether element. Then Mars, you are lighting a lamp. For Venus, You can do the puja or donate. The tapas is basically the Venus. See, Venus is exalted in Pisces. That is the house of moksha, the natural 12th house. Then for Mercury, you have to purify the earth element by the mantra japa. Okay. So these are the remedies for various deities and various elements. And see, typical remedy that you can do is, let's say you have sun in the Trimshansh of Saturn. Okay. Look at the planet that is, let's say you are studying the Vimshutri Dasha, and it is the Mahadasha of Sun and Mars. And Sun and Mars, they are, let's say, in the Trimshansh of Saturn. Then, if you propitiate Shiva, then it will basically remove the subconscious evils that we just now studied in the Trimshansh chart. Okay, just by propitiating Shiva, you are removing those subconscious thoughts. If you do mantras, let's say if it is in the house of Mercury, then doing the mantra itself, you will be freed from the kind of greed that you are having, because Mercury is the earth element. Okay, so when you are doing the mantra, you are liberating your man from the shackles of this earth. Okay, so the level of lobha will come down. Also, you can do donations also for Mercury, because donation also reduces the lobha. So these are all the remedies that one can perform in the Trimshansh chart. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you very much.